to get trained so that they can be employed in an economical manner which should benefit to them as well as to us and as well as to the employer who is getting the work done. These are the few things based on which the government created these councils, automobile councils, tailoring council, medical, and what 33 councils, jewelry councils, April councils, and things like that. Ours is one of the biggest councils because you see here the total workforce is 44% as compared to all other sectors. And this is a huge workforce which is employed in construction after the irrigation sector. Now comes, we have to train 44.3 million workers today, and by end of 2022, 84.5 million workers, 8.4 crore workers in our industry under various trades. How we do that? CSDCI, which was created as a non-profit organization under the Indian Companies Act on 11 November 2013 for developing national occupation standards, building capacity by creating certified trainers and assessors, and creating NOS, National Operating Standards. It's a Herculean task. When you have to train the people, you have to have trainers, you have to have assessors so that they can be certified. Now what happened? Once we have to make the NOS, this council spent 1.3 crore rupees in assigning the task of making national operating standards from an Australian skill councils. They have prepared the national operating standards based on which the trainers have to train within that parameters. The assessors have to be trained for assessing the quality of training given and so that they can be certified. After these parameters are established, then only you can go and train the trainees. Now this body, CSDCI, is created by the 4 promoter organizations, the Builder Association of India, CREDI is the Confederation of Real Estate Development Development Association, National Highway Builders Federation, and Construction Federation of India. We are the promoter organizations who have invested in constituting this organization. This is under PPP mode, Government of India on one hand, and these body on the other hand. They constitute basically the Skill Development Council. He's the chairman of STC, is the chairman of the Governing Council. I am one of the directors of the Governing Council and member of the Governing Council. Now this is an important thing. We have to prepare the National Operating Occupational Standard as a qualification pack. And this pack consists of what all is to be trained, how they are to be trained, and where they are to be trained. Important thing is, if we see an operator, when we purchase an equipment, costly equipment, whether Indian manufactured, made or imported, the purchaser, that is a construction company or a concessionaire, they send their people, their workers in their works, manufacturing works, to get trained, that is known as in-class training, within class training, under various technical, to give them knowledge of various technical parameters of the equipment. We also train the mechanics so that they are trained in maintaining the equipment. Once they come back and equipment is brought at site, then they are trained by old foremen and all who are working in our country, in our companies for a very long time. They train those people. But the problem is those old people who are training today, they are not eligible because they are not certified as trainers or assessors by this body. So what we have to do, all the construction companies, they have to send their foremen and their mechanics and their operators to this body to get them trained as a trainer, to get them trained as an assessor, so that they are able to train the operators in a perfect manner within the parameters laid down under the qualification pack. Now, they have defined national standard qualification framework, and Government of India has approved. The Ministry Skill Development Council, they approved this NSQF and the competence parameters of various levels of what you call operators or workers, and then they lay down NSQF level criteria for various levels of workmen, level 1, level 2 to level 6 and level 10. Now, these are the benefits of this. I don't want to go into detail because they ultimately, when they are well designed, well framed, and well examined by the various agencies, before they are established, I think they will come out with real benefits as far as trained personnel are concerned. The sector skill councils to identify the job roles, existing regulatory institutions, like these are the body involved, AICTE, UGC, NCVT, and various Indian technical institutes all over the country. And assessment bodies are certified, and the system goes on as defined and approved by the ministry. The technical people are there in the ministry who laid down the framework and who decide how the training has to be processed. Now, why I'm telling all these things? So far, personnel were being trained, but in a haphazard manner. Every company used to train them as per their policies and framework. Now it has to be institutionalized so that standard tradesmen come in, they are certified. Not only they will benefit themselves because their employability abroad in Middle East countries and African countries will increase because of standardized certification what they will have. We as an entrepreneur, we as an operator, we as an executive body will benefit, and inter alia, the road user will get benefit by getting better quality roads. This is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneur. National Skill Development Corporation is the apex body of all the councils who control and monitor the activities of all these councils. National Skill Development Agency is a body. Earlier, the Prime Minister used to be the chairman of this body, but now that responsibility has been taken over by the ministry. And then the various sector skill councils, ours is one of them, and then our training providers and training, various establishments. This is a standard. Now, this is very important. We do the occupational mapping and functional analysis of each and every categories, and we have got workshops. At the moment, we have started just about a year ago in a very effective, workable manner, and we are able to develop workshops, 10 site visits we have made compulsory, 90
Verma,
site
can
visits.
we conclude in 5 minutes?
2 minutes, just 2 minutes. Then QP and NOS have been developed, and presentations we have made to the Prime Minister, and I think he should be happy that the way he wanted, the things are being processed. These are the occupational standards of various plant and equipment. I don't want to go into detail. Now you should go, that is our job. And total job roles have been decided, 114. Total qualification packs have been prepared, 99. And qualification standards approved by NSDC is 89, and rest are being worked out. These are the equipment. For each and every equipment has got 6 levels of operators and mechanics. They are being trained accordingly. These are the bodies, various bodies involved in the training of operators. And these are various, how we plan the theory and classroom theory and site training and all those things are given here. And I think Pradhan Mantri Kushal Yojana, Pradhan Mantri pays to each and every certified worker. And our minister has also has agreed to pay 15,000 rupees per trained worker. And that will be paid directly to him under Aadhaar. Nothing will come to us. So that is one thing very good done by the minister. It will go from the central road funds. Then this is, I think, in detail. Then there's a certification being done by our council, which is applicable all over the country and would be applicable all over the world. And this is thank you from my side. Thank you very much.
It should be the endeavor of all the contractors and bodies like NHAI, NHIDCL, BRO to develop a kind of MOU or understanding with them so that enough and more skill power is available for our sector. And particularly so in the remote areas like Northeast or the backward areas. Now I would request Mr. Bhanot to present his paper on the vehicle safety. Mr. Bhanot, if you could kindly conclude in 15 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed grateful to Mr. Nahar for inviting me today here. Probably I am one of the odd persons here in the whole crowd because I belong to the vehicle industry and who are the main users of the road what you build. And ultimately, whatever road you make, we have to face it and we have to run the vehicle on that. So he asked me to present some paper on that, on the vehicle safety aspects. Let me give you a little background of mine, that I am presently the chairman of the Transport Council of India, who frames all standards relating to transportation. I was the former director of Automotive Research Institute in Pune. I was also the Director General in the Department of Heavy Industry. I was also the chairman of the CMVR Technical Committee, who frames the rules and regulations under the CMVR rules, right from the inception. And I would like to share some views. I think broad description is that, as you know, about 1.3 million people die all over the world, and about 20 to 50 million people get injured. And bulk of the people are in the age group of 15 to 29. Not only that, bulk of the people also die in the developing countries. You'll be surprised to know the people who die in the entire Europe, not even 50,000. And we in India kill about 150,000 people every year on the roads what you build. Now we have to see the people who die. They are in the pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists. And it costs about 1 to 3% of the GDP. And if we don't take any steps, this figure is going to be 1.9 million by 2020. That is what the United Nations have come down. Now, they have suggested 2020 decade to be the decade of safety. And that is why the subject of safety has become so important in our country. There are 4 or 5 pillars of the entire safety map: road safety management, safer roads, safer vehicles, safer road users, post-crash response. The last leg is the one which is lagging behind. We are yet to carry out post-accident analysis in our country. Somebody has to take a lead in that. Maybe that you road builders may be taking, or somebody else will be the owner of that. Now, just to tell you the basic legislative arrangement which is done in our country, MORTH, under which you also work, on the road wing, and we work under the safety wing of the Ministry of Road Transport, and they take care of the Motor Vehicle Act, which was framed in 1989, and under which various rules have been framed for making the vehicle on road. Under that, when the globalization was announced by the Prime Minister in 1990, they took a step how to frame the rules under the act which was framed in 1989. And I happened to be the founder chairman of that committee, and we suggested formation of one committee that is called the CMVR Technical Standing Committee, which still works. And I handled that committee for almost 15 years. And thereafter, I also moved as a director of ARI to frame the respective automotive standards which are required for making that. It was realized way back 20 years ago that it will be difficult for the Bureau of Indian Standards to make that many standards and to make our automotive vehicles compatible with the rest of the world. And that was the role which was given to the Automotive Standard Committee, which was working under the director ARI in mid-90s, and is still continuing. I handled that committee for 10 years, and there are a number of people who are members of that. After those standards are made, they are being adopted by the Bureau of Indian Standard. Presently, I am the chairman of the Bureau of Indian Standard to take care of the transformation and keep it up pace with the international standards. Now, way back in early 2000, it was also decided that we should not only adopt our Indian standard. We must have an equivalence to some international standard. And that's why, can I have a glass of water? I was telling a glass of bottle somewhere, it's not there. Because I'm a diabetic patient, the mouth gets dry quickly. No, water. You see that in the United Nations, there is a committee which is called WP29. It works in Geneva, headquarters, where all the international standards are framed. And President of India has signed way back in 1999 that India will be framing standards aligning with the international standards, and that is the process still going on. They have got, in turn, about 6 subgroups, which handles areas like pollution, general safety, brakes, lighting, noise, and passive safety standards. And all 6 committees are represented by our Indian delegates, and some of the committees are also chaired by the Indians. Now, the safety standards in the automotive industry can be divided into 2 parts. One part is called the active safety, other part is called the passive safety. What do we mean by active safety? Active safety means which always comes into play when the vehicle is moving. For example, lighting, brakes, things like that. Passive safety are those standards which come into existence when the accident has taken place. It mitigates the damage to your body. That is a standard, like safety belt, like airbags, example. And this gives the historical perspective how in the different standards have been made. So I'm not going to each one of it. I'm just sharing with you some of the pictorial, how different standards have been introduced in our country. That is on the active side. And this is on the passive side. In the individual years, we are now moving towards latest regulations, which are called the crash standards. Those were lagging behind in our country because we did not have the facility. In 2006, Prime Minister announced a package of 2,000 crores for setting up test facilities for automotive testing in the country. Now 4 labs have come up in the country with 500 crore investment each, with a national testing track coming up in Indore, Pithampur. And that is probably one of the largest test tracks in the world, which is coming up in Pithampur, and at the cost of something like 900 crores of rupees in an area which is around 1,000 acres. Now, presently, we are lagging behind in the crash testing. We are almost like 90% aligned in the automotive standard with the rest of the world, and that is the reason that most of our automobiles are able to export their vehicle to the rest of the world, anywhere, any country, even the European countries. Now, only crash test is the one which is carried out outside, but from next year onwards, all vehicles coming on the road will be crash-proof. Now the model testing is going on. Already about 50 to 60 models have been broken, and they have been tested for the crash test, and from next year onwards, you will find on the road, a couple of models will be out of the game, and the new models will be coming to replacing them. For example, Omni van is one of that classical example that will be there. Now, I would like to share a few important standards which are very relevant, like one mirror. One may think that it's a very simple standard. I like to share my experience when I went for a testing of one Hino vehicle, which you people are using for transportation of some of your material, Hino trucks. I went for the homologation of that vehicle to Tokyo, and I noticed you notice a mirror in the center. There, the entire video film is played for the driver, what is going on the right side and on the left side. Because behind he has got an entire container or a loaded vehicle. He can't see anything, just like in a passenger car. So they put a camera on the outside. You will find this camera is here. Just a moment. You'll find a camera here. And this camera, I'm not seeing that. On the top, you can see there's a camera which gives the picture on that particular mirror inside. So all the time he knows what is going on the left and right side. There are two mirrors on the left side. One is basically meant for taking care of the side of the wall of the vehicle. Other is meant for a distance viewing. Then I went for Scania vehicle, which is also a commercial vehicle. Most of you people might be using at this moment. It has got a mirror even on the side. It indicates if anybody of the truck driver has come on the side, he can have a vision of that.